Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO The Hobbit. We need to load back in and see where the load leaves us because we are on day 2 of me recording this game. So every footage up to this point was day 1. I figured no reason to hide that. So it'll be interesting to see if it puts us somewhere like at the beginning of where we were supposed to be or at the beginning of the map. Nope. It seems like it has no problem at all. It could have definitely put us over here. But no. After you beat the level, you have a save game. Ooh, this day-night cycle might be an interesting occurrence when we get in the free play mode. That was something in LEGO Lord of the Rings. So that could again become an issue. Where are we heading? We're heading right to the elfish lands. I think this design looks a lot better than the other LEGO Lord of the Rings game. We didn't do much in that area in LEGO Lord of the Rings actually, so. The statues here look are scaled down to be close to minifig size versus being giant statues.
For orcs to come so close to our borders. Something or someone has drawn them near.
That may have been us.
Welcome, Thorin, son of Thrain.
I do not believe we have met.
And what were you doing on the Great East Road?
Great East Road. Subtitles are translating for... That seems a little weird. So I wonder in the movie if he had a fake hand or if he had...
the map.
I guess he would have a fake hand. This feels so much like a Star Wars reference there.
Kirth Ethel.
Moon runes.
Can you read them?
So we've gotten into something we haven't really, I haven't noticed at least up to this point. In LEGO Lord of the Rings particularly, you would run into just cutscene and then you would walk somewhere and you would see another cutscene. And then you would walk somewhere else and then you would start the level and then you'd end the level and then there'd be another cutscene. And in fact, a significant amount of the game was not game in LEGO Lord of the Rings. We haven't seen that yet, but I want to be, I'm gonna be hyper sensitive to something like that. Notice it's nighttime now.
Could you help me?
Somebody's asking for help. And of course the game wants me to get distracted. Ooh, doves, that's cool. It wants me to get distracted. It wants me to run around and do other things, but honestly, if I did that, it'll just turn into a mess of video game playing. The LEGO games in general, wow, I must be just walking around. Yeah, there's the person who wanted assistance. Here's the treasure room too. Same place as it in LEGO Lord of the Rings. Different design. So we can go here and we can see each of them and we know the names now of the levels, if that's a spoiler of anything. It's actually kind of not as good but more compact a design in this one. Before you were down on that round section and there was a statue for each level. I can't help but start to feel like if they had merged their efforts a little bit. And instead of releasing LEGO Lord of the Rings and LEGO The Hobbit, just released LEGO The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings together as one game originally. They could have put a little bit more polish into it and fixed it. It seems like what they did here is they cheaped out. Wow, it sure seems like I should be able to walk into that. I mean, that doesn't even look like it is a wall. That looks like, for a shift perspective, force perspective thing. The guy sweeping, that's kind of funny. Where are we? So we're gonna need an elf eventually to get to that. But yeah, it certainly seems like they're ready for us to get distracted. Yeah, you may potentially encourage bad video game playing in a kid if you let them just play LEGO games. But honestly, LEGO games are for kids that haven't really played video games up to that point, so they're gonna be bad anyways. The ability to run around and do other things if you're having trouble is probably very, very helpful, if I was to guess. And it wants me to go into the secret. This is where the bonus level was in the original game. LEGO Lord of the Rings. I guess you can't call it the original game. Yeah, the bonus level was right here. And it possibly is still right here. Not knowing the story, there may be some super significant reason for that, but I don't even know what this is. If it's some ancient elf tomb or whatever. How long have we been going now? 7 minutes, and we haven't made it to the level. And I don't think that's just because I loaded. I think it would have been 7 minutes to get this far, regardless. So, notice there. We walked to a place, we saw a cutscene. We walked to a place, we're seeing another cutscene.
The last light of Durin's day will shine upon the keyhole.
We'll have to be standing in exactly the right spot at exactly the right time. Then, and only then, can the door be opened.
There are some who would not deem it wise.
Tell me, Gandalf, did you think these plans and schemes of yours would go unnoticed?
The dragon has long been on your mind.
Galadriel,
Something
Sauron the White.
beyond the evil of Smaug.
Morgul blade.
They speak of a necromancer living in Dol Guldur, a sorcerer who can summon the dead.
Gandalf, Sauron is vanquished. No such power exists in this world. The question of this dwarvish company, however, troubles me deeply.
My Lord Elrond,
So,
the dwarves,
Saruman
they've gone.
is assumedly still good at this point. We would assume. Again, just a cutscene. We're still not in the level. Just a cutscene. I think a lot of this falls down to the story. Really, it's hard to. You have to get more imaginative than they were able to, obviously, to squeeze in gameplay when there is, like, no action.
Undeterred by the advice of the elves and the White Council, the dwarves
9
continued
minutes.
their journey to the Lonely Mountain. Their travels took them over the high pass, where the weather took a turn for the worse.
That was a little mean. Electrocuting a goat. And I would, here we've got a split section where we're gonna have to play as 2 people. I would need the elf to do that. I have to get that schematic, so that's free play mode. I would assume that they can't just have different dialogue, particularly for this case, this example. I would assume that if they wanted to do a Telltale style thing where you would choose your dialogue, somebody would be upset about that. There we go. What? How did I get stuck? Try and get these collectibles. There's a perfect way to do this, and I'm not succeeding well on it. There's a collectible, we can't get that far. I would kind of like if you were able to pick your own choice. Like, choose your own destiny as to what you're gonna say. It would, at the very least, allow you something to decide, something to say. This is quite a unique way to build a ladder versus what we're used to. I have to tap B here. And you can see at the top right, for the first time in this game, it's flashing yellow. Press and hold Y to bring up the game wheel and select the pulsating character to swap groups. So this guy, we gotta come over here and who's got a hammer? I don't think any of these characters can break that. And it doesn't seem like there's anything there right now. There's an achievement here for buddying up with each of the group of dwarves. I'm not sure if you'd probably run into that anyways. There's a decent chance. I will certainly play the whole main game through and before I bother to even try that. If I have it done by that time, good. If I don't, then it will be a simple matter to correct that. The best thing to do, of course, would be to get a list so I know exactly which of the characters they mean by that. Because sometimes they'll say, do everybody in this group, and you're not certain which group that is. All the other achievements in LEGO games, as is typical, are going to be easy enough to figure out. It's time to switch back. Who's the pulsating guy? There he is. Here's a good example of how it can be difficult to put gameplay when there was no real action in the story. We're just walking up a hill. That's basically all we really are doing here. Sure, you could make some allowances for the fact that it's kind of a treacherous walk up a hill, but it's still walking up a hill. Where's the hammer guy? I'm gonna have to start learning which character has the hammer. Because it looks like... Here he is. It looks like only one of them really can do it. Man. I need to get better at getting right in the middle. Oh, and by the way, it did turn out that we did get 99 fish, somehow. And then we spent a ridiculous amount of fish. So, I guess I should just play as the hammer guy again. Here you can see the rain effects are falling on the front of the screen. I am not a huge fan of that. I like rain effects fine, but I don't want to feel like I'm playing a video game through a TV. I don't want to, if that makes sense. I mentally don't believe that the characters are in some kind of glass box, and that the rain is hitting the front of the glass box. That's not how I want to respond to it, and that's the only explanation for the on-screen, streaking. Because none of these characters are wearing glasses, and as the player, I'm personally not wearing glasses, and even if you were a player that was wearing glasses, you still wouldn't enjoy that. So often I feel like video game creators get into visual gimmicks, and they're like, well, we always did it that way, so let's do it that way some more, and they don't think logically as to, like, what does this really mean? Gotta figure out which of these hammer guys. I don't think any of them do have a hammer ability. Does Sting have some magical ability? No. It's gonna be funny if that turns out that the sword does not sting. Hey, we got it. So we'll get that collectible. Right now I'm playing just thoroughly because I want to get the things that will, I assume, eventually be required. Is there anything else we can do? Nope. Can't do anything with that either, I don't believe. Another attempt. Perfect. That's what I'm looking for each time. We need the item. Where is it? Who can crack the Lego plates? Well, just make sound noises. Let's see. Well, it feels like I tried all of these, so let's see if any of these have. And over here, there's nothing, and if I jump this way, I just die. Oh, the crank is already up there, isn't it? Silly me. Just didn't see it. Yeah, it's already up here. All I had to do is get up here and hit B. Well, I have to tap B, apparently. That's kind of amazing how having the crank just be there by default made it more difficult. It would have been so much easier if just in a box right here it was. Right, so pay the toll for everything we need to build something and do the minigame. There's an achievement for getting a decent amount of studs from these minigames. I imagine by the time you've played both this level in story mode and free play mode, though, you would have accomplished that. This thing looks like it's going to be a magical tower. Some kind of lightning rod or something. Yeah, I called that. Let's move on. Again, though, no bad guys in that entire level. I don't understand why they didn't fill every single level with just orcs or small creatures, spiders, like orcs, spiders, rats, something, some creature that would attack you and you could kill them, whether it was in the real game or not. These stone giants seem to be fighting each other. Alright, let's save and continue. This is an interesting thought. Again, a part of the story I had no knowledge of. So I assume this happens in The Hobbit. I don't think they could have... Oops. Could have gotten away with changing that much. So we need a specific rock to throw at a specific tree. And from that we can build a place to climb up. To run up here. Man. Why would stone giants be throwing stones at each other? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And they seem to be completely oblivious of the dwarves. Unless the necromancer is somehow controlling them and having them fight to kill the dwarves. I suppose that could be the case. It's not a terrible story to say that there was would be some like magical creature that was behind the scenes the whole story, antagonizing the main character in the story. In fact, that's probably a lot of stories are that. Let's see. I have this rock, but it's like needed way up there. So hit X here, and then jump here, and then build this. Kinda wish I had found the rock after building this section. Come on, climb. That's a difficult one to climb. I think slightly bad design there, because I could have gotten confused and obsessed with finding where to throw the rock and not done the rest of the puzzle. Need this guy. It's a simple design that they had to do here for the giant. It's just straight up square Lego bricks for everything. Trying to smash that thing. I knew I could. This is a good example of why doing curves with actual Legos can be very difficult. Everybody just magically got teleported up to where I was. You have to get at such a large scale, and even when you are doing such a large scale, it doesn't quite work. Speaking of scales, it kind of looks like these Lego bricks are scaled a little larger than what you normally would see in a Lego game. Here we go. Now I'd assume to get to do a buddy team up for everybody, you would just pick the first two characters, team them up, pick the second two characters, team them up. There's probably one level or one area you could start over and over again to do that. Here we are, I think, on our fourth or fifth cutscene of this level. Or what you would call this level. I assume this is the end.
Where's the Hobbit?
Oh, there's more. Interesting. Pull him up. I wonder if the dwarfs chose a hobbit simply because they didn't want to be with any humans or anyone taller than them. So they chose somebody as short as they are. Is this just heightism? Well, that was cutscene 6 and 30 minutes, 10 of which before we even really started the level. This is, I think, if this game is gonna jump the shark, I would say the beginning of this level is what it's gonna do it. Where I'd say that they've started to seem a little lazy. Maybe this is when the budget got in trouble or something like that. Maybe not. No, who knows? This may be the one level that that they didn't have time to completely flush out, and everything else is completely fine. That is possible. Often you'll work on the most important levels, so the first level, the boss level at the end, all of that, and so we could be okay. They could have just dropped the ball here, and still I would say this is by far, at least so far, an improvement on LEGO Lord of the Rings. So hopefully they learned something. Maybe they didn't. Maybe the one team made LEGO Lord of the Rings and a different team made LEGO The Hobbit. That often seems the case. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.